when things need to make when things make sense, you should do it, right? Rather than trying to time the market, right?
Right.
Like it's impossible to know when rates are really going to bottom out, especially in the next 60 to 90 days. We know they're going to get better in the future. I just don't
Right.
know if they're going to get better in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? So if it's a time sensitive thing, this is all we know is what's available to you today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, I don't want to save all the I don't want to use all the good stuff on
Yeah, 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 right.
so let me just see. All right. So live stream on Facebook. Let's see. Let's see. Bibbity bobbity boobity. Let's see. Let's see. Ba-ba-bum. Real estate happy hour. Join Scott and Pete as they talk about what's happening this week and get your questions answered. Whatever. Share on your own time, share to your page, standard. All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's see what we got. All right, preparing to go live.
Preparation.
Careful, we could be live any minute. You never really know.
Okay.
All right, it says we're now live. So
We're going to
let's
trust
see.
that we know.
All right, all right, all right. All right. Looks like we're live. So what's up, brother? How you doing?
I am Peachy Keen, man. How you doing?
Peachy Keen, going back, that's like a 50s thing.
Is it?
I don't know. It's old. It's not a 2024 expression. I know that for
It ain't
sure.
something a
But
30-year-old should be saying.
yeah, well, you are 30, almost 31. So what's up, guys? So we are here with Real Estate Happy Hour. And again, this is our weekly, almost like office hours. We're going to talk about what's going on in our week. We're just going to kind of keep rambling here. Trying to bring as much value to you as possible. So I shouldn't say rambling necessarily. But this is a platform where if you guys have real estate questions or you want to know what's going on, we're happy to talk about that. In the meantime, we're just going to share with you what is going on in our world. So, Scott, first and foremost, how are you doing, my friend, other than Peachy Keen?
I am doing great, man. Just keeping busy these days, feeling like it's almost month end already, which is crazy. This year is flying, but um, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. So, all right, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in here because we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. So, let's just jump into like what is obviously the topic of conversation. The Fed meets tomorrow. I don't know about you. I'm sick of talking about interest rates, but it is an interesting thing to talk about. It's what we have going on and it's relevant. Like it actually is important. So, you know, the Fed is supposed to meet tomorrow. From what I've heard, they're expected to cut anywhere from a quarter to a half a point. What does that mean for mortgage rates?
Yeah, so I think you actually did a really nice job with the video that you posted. I think it was earlier this week, right? Yesterday or
Yeah,
even last
yesterday.
week?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so basically what it means is that the Fed funds rate is the rate that um, is dictated by the Federal Reserve at which banks can borrow from one another, right? So naturally, by lowering that rate, it's going to make things cheaper for banks to borrow from one another and reduce interest rates on everything across the board, right? Credit cards, auto loans, mortgage rates, things like that. But when people hear that rates are going to be cut a 1/4% or a 0.5%, it doesn't mean that mortgage rates are going to have a direct correlation to that. And I think that's what gets so misconstrued sometimes. I think that this is just the start of rates beginning to come down and probably will continue to come down throughout all of 2025.
Yeah. And I mean, we've already seen that adjustment in the market, right? We've already seen the mortgage rates start to come down. So, like, I mean, obviously you don't know, but like when you see the rate you know, the Fed tomorrow, say they announce, you know, we're cutting it at the Fed funds rate 0.5%. What do you anticipate? Do you like anticipate that mortgage rates are going to drop, or you think they're already kind of baked into the pricing that you're
I
doing
th-
now?
I think it's definitely baked into the pricing, but depending upon the severity and the speak of Jerome Powell tomorrow is really going to dictate what the market's going to do. Right.
Yeah.
We already priced in. That's why we've seen rates come down over the last month already, is because we knew that the Fed is cutting rates. Right. But based on their conversation tomorrow, are they going to say, hey, listen, we're going to cut it once and wait and see for the next 6 months what that looks like? Or are they going to deliver news that, hey, listen, we have anticipation that in the next 4 meetings, we're going to cut rates another, 2 points. And if that's the case, I think that's when you really see some volatility for the better. So it's so much more than just the action of cutting rate, but more so what they plan on doing in the future, because that's what rates are. They're always forward looking.
Right. Yeah, I think, and that's how I explained it. I've heard it explained. I think it's one of the best ways to do it is like if Apple was releasing, you know, they put on news today that they're coming out with, you know, the iPhone, whatever one they're on, the iPhone 16, and it's going to have this amazing new feature. It's going to revolutionize everything. The market is going to jump today, right? The stock is going to go up today. However, there's a chance that when that product actually gets released and everybody's lined up and ready to wait for it, that they maybe don't do as well as everybody thought. And now the stock is actually going down. So, you know, that's similar to tomorrow, right? They could, you know, expectations are they're going to cut it 0.5 point. If they only cut it 1/4 point, like that could actually have an opposite effect. But I still think we're not talking about like significant difference if we do see it go up a little bit, but you never really know. You never really know.
Correct. Yeah, and I would say the same, that it's something that is going to lead to forward market movement one way or the other, but it's all going to be dictated based on future views. So I think that this is just the beginning. But in that same realm of thought, like I know we were talking kind of before we came on camera here, have a lot of clients right now asking whether they should be locking or whether or not they should be floating on trying to buy something in the next, if they're under contract and closing in October, right?
Well, that's
And
the
it's
question now is, yeah, is this, you know, if you're just bought a home in the last couple of months and you have a 7 or maybe even close to 8% interest rate, like should now be the time to refinance if you are under contract for a property? Should you be locking in your interest rate right now? I mean, what's your thoughts?
Well, so I would say if I have somebody closing in the next 2 weeks, I give them the scenario. It's totally their choice, right? But I'll give them the scenario that, hey, listen, if rates are going to get better, I don't see them getting, drastically better, just like I don't see them getting drastically worse. But if you're happy with what the rates are right now, lock it, right? If you're not happy with it, similarly, you could wait and see. But I would say that with most people that are kind of time crunched with having to close in the next couple weeks, um, you know, I don't think there's going to be a significant savings or negative impact one way or the other. So I could justify it either ways depending upon the client's views. But
Yeah.
more specifically with refinancing, that's where I actually had a couple clients too that recently are in the high sevens, and I was showing them some interest rate options in the fives, right? And they're on the fence as to whether or not they should do it now. Should they wait again, or wait a little bit longer to see if they improve? If you're saving $500 today, and that's the only thing that we really know that you can actually do, or $600 or $300, whatever it looks like, if that's enough for you, then pull the trigger. And if not, we
Right.
could wait and see. But the only thing we know is the rates today, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough trying to figure that out. But yeah, if you can save yourself a couple of bucks, I mean, $500 is not nothing. Like
No, not at all.
that's a decent amount of money that you can save. It's like, how can you go wrong? Like, yeah, maybe you could have saved like $525 if you waited like,
Sure.
2 weeks or 3 weeks. But yeah, at the end of the day, just do what you can only operate with the information that you have.
Yeah, and
Um,
and with that too, you could always refinance twice. Now, I always say asterisk there because like you don't want to be paying double closing costs, right? Because of course you have closing costs of the refinance. You could roll them into the loan, but you want to make sure that you're kind of doing it appropriately. But yeah, if rates continue to improve, you could always reap the benefits twice.
Yeah, like you're not going to refinance necessarily to save $100 or
Not, no,
$50 a
exactly.
month. Like that doesn't really make sense because you're rolling into the closing costs and whatnot, right? That you wouldn't make sense. But if you're, talking about a significant amount, then yeah, it does make sense. And you do it again if you got to do it again.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, again, there's so much more to real estate than interest rates, but they have been such a topic of conversation in the last couple of weeks. I know you were even telling me something about a client with trying to buy another house or something with the current rate that they have. Talk about that.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think that like so and it will be in our newsletter tomorrow. So if anybody wants to jump on that newsletter, we're giving you market updates and not market updates, but I guess yeah, market updates, interest rate, current interest rates, what's going on. But yeah, I mean, um hold on, let me just see. Okay, making sure we're not missing any comments. So if you guys have any questions about what we're talking about or anything related to real estate or, really anything. I mean, last week we were talking about if anybody wanted any cats. We got cats rolling around in Scott's house. So
There's only
we're
more of
pretty
them now.
we're pretty much open to whatever. This is happy hour, so let's chill. But yeah, I mean, I think so yeah, someone reached out and was just kind of like, "Hey, like can you like bring your interest rate with you?" Right? This is someone who bought several years ago, did the right thing of refinancing or had whatever. Their rate is so low. There's so many of us out here that are just like, "Oh, I'd love the bigger backyard or different location or whatever it is," but it's like I just can't justify doing it. Like I can't even afford doing it. Like it doesn't financially make sense. And there's a lot of people in that situation right now. So it kind of got me to thinking like, okay, well, how can we like try to solve this problem a little bit? And it's not going to work in every case, but what you can consider doing is keeping your home and renting it out,
Hmm.
taking the profit from the home that you're renting out and using it to offset the cost of your new mortgage payment. Now, again, it has to make sense. It has to make financial sense. And I think the biggest obstacle that we come across is, okay, yeah, that's great for the monthly payment, but like, where's my down payment coming from? And you can do a HELOC, but then you're talking about more debt and it like kind of gets a little tricky. So listen, I don't, I understand it's not like, an easy thing necessarily, but there is a way to do this. This particular person was talking about, selling their house in Bergen County or renting their house in Bergen County, which they'll do very well in, and then moving out west where they can get a little more land and property values are a little bit lower. So like that's a perfect scenario. And of course, if anybody wants to ask or talk about that or just run some numbers real quick, like just reach out to us. You can, same thing with you, right? Like if someone's like, hey, I'm like on the fence about refinancing, like I can't stress enough how like we just want to give you the information. It doesn't matter if you do anything with it now or not, but like, it's so easy to have like just a simple conversation from an expert who's going to like break it down for you. But
100%. Because I would also say too is I feel like um, there's so many misconceptions with regards to interest rates in that regard too, where it's like someone might be advertising a 5% interest rate, but it's going to cost the person $15,000, right? So like there's so much more to it that at the surface level you might not be aware of. That yeah, if you ever want to just kind of crunch some numbers, see what makes most sense, whether or not you should or shouldn't do something, just give you the options.
yeah, it's not much more than a quick phone call, but I think it's a way out for people who are like really stuck and they don't want to wait. Cause like the biggest concern is that you're going to wait, rates are going to drop, and it's going to jack up these home prices. So that's the concern. We'll see what happens. Again, everyone's been trying to predict the future for years now, but let me ask you this. I mean, you work so much on the buy side, obviously, as the lender. Like, what are some things that are working for buyers right now? I mean, feel like it's still a super competitive market, everything that we're seeing. Like anything we can give these guys and gals that maybe gives them something to consider, like that you're seeing, some buyers win with?
Yeah, I would say that still going in with strong offers is obviously important. And we've had this conversation a few times that homes are still going for above ask, right? I don't think they're going significantly above ask, but
That'd be
yeah,
wrong. You'd be wrong.
yeah, I mean,
Sorry
yeah,
to be direct there, but yeah, no. I mean, from what we're seeing, that they are still very much going. I guess. All right, let me tone that back a little bit. I apologize. It's
no, no,
more
no,
like
it's fine. I was gonna say though, but like in certain cases, I feel like things aren't going quite above, right, what they were. I haven't seen any personally, haven't seen anything $150,000 above list price like I was seeing 2 years ago,
right.
right?
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's in comparison to 2 years ago, yes, it's maybe
But
not quite to that degree. Yeah.
yeah, but still seeing homes listed at 490 sell for 550, 560. Yes, it's
Yeah.
still significant, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. For
I'm a
sure.
little
For
skewed
someone,
just from what I know.
that's what I mean. From you and I being in the market and like for as long as we're doing it, we're like, yeah, they're not. It's not as bad as it was. But somebody who just gets in the market and sees a house listed for 490 and is like, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're saying I got to pay 550 for this? Like that's
Yeah.
So we got that for us. It's not as drastic, but for some and new to the market, yeah, it's still pretty significant.
But while you say that, I would even probably say it's important for consumers to understand that list price means nothing, right?
It's a
I don't know how.
suggestion.
Yeah, it's we'll start the bidding at, right? Because I have so many people that are like, oh, the home's only worth 490. That's what they listed it for. No, that's just where they started at, right?
Yeah.
So the home's worth what somebody's willing to offer for it. Maybe not to you, but to somebody else.
Yeah.
But to go back to your original question, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely seeing people still going in firm on their offers. Still seeing some appraisal gap verbiage. Nothing really new. It's the same stories over the last couple of years. Couple things that have actually worked for me recently is with our program specifically, the Buy Now Sell Later program. Um,
Yeah.
that's actually been pretty impactful. A lot of realtors recently seem to be open to that, almost even more so because on the buy now, sell later, the client has a home to sell. Oftentimes they're not even listed yet. So a lot of times these listing agents are pretty eager to try and accept these offers to help them with the buy as well. Um, or vice versa. I'm sorry, help them, with getting their offer accepted to hopefully be able to list their home as well. So I have either two or three buy now, sell later transactions active right now.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. And that's
So
for, again, for someone who needs to, like, I guess we kind of just said it, but, has all the equity tied up in their home in order to purchase the next home. So they need that equity and they don't want to put their house on the market before they go find something. So that can definitely help with that.
exactly.
Um, yeah. I mean, I think something that got us pretty close this week was, we put a number towards so we knew the seller was moving out of state. So, and the agent, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, well, whatever. So what we did was so whenever you're selling your home in New Jersey and you're moving out of state, you pay an exit tax. The exit tax is either 2% on the total sale price or about 9% on your profit, whichever number, of course, is higher,
Right.
because it's the state of New Jersey. But, so we knew that transfer tax was going to, the seller was going to get hit with that transfer tax. So instead of, whatever, putting money in all different places, we just said, you know what, if we will pay you X amount of dollars. It was like 10 grand towards your transfer tax. And then that doesn't matter if the inspection issues come up, if, appraisals happen, whatever, that 10 grand is still happening. So it was a way for them to, instead of increasing their monthly payment by going up another $10,000. And, it actually, we broke it down for the seller and we sent a video where it was like, this actually nets you more money than a 550 offer, right? Our offer is 540, but we're going to pay your transfer exit tax. It's actually nets you more money than a 550. So that's just something that we got kind of creative with, that I think could be helpful for people. Hopefully that doesn't go over people's heads, but, basically it's like, you're paying their taxes, and who doesn't love their taxes getting paid? So
Yeah, no, I think there's always little creative ways to try and stand out. And even if it was still identical, let's even say it was still net same to the seller, I think still you kind of putting your ideas out there, it just shows that you're a little bit more creative in ways of getting things done. So sometimes that helps.
yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite parts of this job is the negotiations, thinking outside the box. How can we make this a win-win for everybody that's involved? So, you lose a little bit of that when it's such a competitive, and such a heavy seller's market. But we're getting back to it slowly, but surely, and just getting creative. So,
Yeah.
um, all right, guys. Well, listen, if anybody's got any questions, feel free to chime in while we're on here for a few more minutes. And let's just finish up with some wins, bro. So what you got? What's a win from this week?
A win from this week is helping a client, like I said, drop their rate from I think a 7.75 down to it's looking like a 5.25. It is a VA loan.
Let's
But
go.
that'll be
I
one
know
that
who
we're
that is.
saving. Yeah, we'll be saving just
Yeah.
about $500. So big win there.
Shout out to our peeps. We love you
That's right.
guys.
And then other than that, yeah, a couple other offers accepted. So definitely seeing a drive up in new business, which I'm super happy about.
Let's go.
How about
That's
you?
awesome. Yeah, went from this week. Just got just started with my new coach.
Oh, nice.
So I'm excited for that. Yeah, shout out to Andy Nelson, part of the Glover U family. He's awesome, dude. He's someone who I connected with when he came to town, and then I saw him speak on stage last year, so I was really excited to, get the opportunity to work with him. So yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to just, bringing more value to our people and just crushing our goals this year. So yeah, looking forward to that. So
Sweet.
yeah, so that was definitely a win. So all right, well, listen, we're gonna keep on coming on. So you guys got questions, you can drop them here. You can hit us up individually. Shoot us a text, drop a DM, whatever it is. Smoke signals, whatever it takes.
Carrier
We're
pigeons.
we're here for you guys, and we hope we brought you some value today. And yeah, I think that does it for us, man. You got anything else?
I think I'm all good this week, but we'll be back same time next week.
All right, brother. Well, all right, guys. Well, listen, thanks so much. I'm going to figure out how to end this live portion of this. And until next week, later.
Later.
I think we stopped it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ended.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, we're good. All right.
Yeah, I think it's all in the consistency,
Yeah, for sure.
But I thought that was good. I think that the amount of time we're doing it for too, it's not too long. I think that it covers some good basis, and I didn't see too many people popping in, popping out type of thing. I'm just curious, like, do you think it should be later when people aren't doing anything?
I mean, I don't know.
That's the toughest part. Like, it's like, do we really want to be hopping
No,
on
well,
this call
that's
at 8
the
o'clock?
thing. I'm not trying to do this an 8 o'clock call like that.
Right.
And it's going to be harder to do consistently if
True.
we do that.
Well, yeah, life starts to happen.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I think we got to just stay focused. It's not on the views. Gives us an opportunity. I think what's really going to be interesting to see is if some from some of these videos we can start creating other content. And if that way we can kind of collaborate with that, then I think that continues to make it worth it. I don't think it's about the necessarily how many people log on right away.
Yeah, but maybe a little bit more engagement that way.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
we'll see. I think it'll take time.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, man. On that note, I'm gonna go bang down some fajitas.
Sounds good, man. I had fajitas last night. Enjoy dinner.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Later.